Okay, Chapter 5 review, just a little update on the study guide we're working on in class. We started it today. Whoops, shaking the camera a little there. And the kids will be finishing it up tomorrow. But just wanted to give everyone kind of an idea of how to use this study guide for this chapter. We'll see if this helps a little more than what we did with the Native Americans. All the kids should have this document right here folded in their packet, where it will have the name of the explorer, their personal background, their motives for exploration, their route of exploration, and the impacts they had. Besides that, we also have a timeline, though like I told the kids, for the test, I'm not worried about them memorizing the dates of their exploration, although it's good to know the order in which they explored, and it doesn't hurt to have a feel for that. 1492, though, is a have to. That date you just can't get away without. So, alrighty. So, we're going to take essentially, it's not a game, but this is our board that we're going to use for laying out the pieces. And what they should have a card that's going to look like this when it's done. This is the route of exploration card. We'll be drawing in the arrows tomorrow to show the route that the explorer took. We're going to do one of these for each of the 8. They should have a card that looks like this. Let it focus. All right. That's wrong. Let's turn it like that. No, camera's tricking me here. One more try. There we go. Spain down in what should be that bottom corner. This is, of course, Europe, and the kids will be coloring in the European country that was sponsoring. Remember, this is not necessarily the country they came from, but it's the country that sponsored them on their trip over to the New World. And so there will be 8 of those, one for each explorer. Then I made up 2 sets of these just in case they lose one, because they are kind of tiny. But for each explorer, we're going to be looking at their personal background. In other words, where did they come from as far as what was their background for being an explorer. And some of them we found out very quickly didn't have the best background. But there's one. I gave the kids doubles of these just in case one gets lost. But what we have the sailor. And it's not focusing. Maybe if there we go. We have the sailor. We have the nobleman, if they came from royalty or if they were somehow tied to the royal family. We have, you know what? We have the merchant. And we have the soldier. So we have 4 of these cards. And look at what's that one. It's not really doing a very good job of focusing there. There we go. The soldier. So we have their different backgrounds. And so what we can do is each explorer has a card with his name on it. So the kids should have in their packet, for example, Christopher Columbus. So on their page here, we'd lay down, for example, you'd just lay down for them, Christopher Columbus. Okay, so now, Christopher Columbus was a professional sailor, and then so on the chart, whoops, I dropped it. On the chart, we'd put the sailor piece. Okay, getting the idea? And then what were his motives? And so then we would look at, okay, those are all the to statements. Was it to find riches? If so, we would lay that one down under, but that's just not wanting to focus tonight. See if we can get rid of the background. Well, regardless. There's one for to find riches. That could go underneath the motives, and there's enough room to lay them all out. To spread Christianity, which could be a Bible or a flag like this, to spread Christianity, or were they looking for a route to Asia? And I think holding them up closer is helping. Finding a route to Asia. Okay, and so these would be laid down on the chart underneath motives. They would just put down any of the motives that fit that person. And again, this is just for practice. Keep in mind, what was the person's motive for going? What was their driving force? And then finally, what impacts they had. So, for example, maybe they were claiming land for Europe, which would be this little fella here. Or maybe their job was to establish a settlement. That was their impact. Whoops. See if we can get it to focus here, and it's still not really one. There we go. Establish a settlement. Maybe their impact was that they mistreated or killed native peoples, depending on who the person was. Okay? See what I'm saying? So, and those would go underneath the impact or impacts, and most of these people had more than one impact. There was also a spread disease card and such. As well as, and again, you'll notice this wasn't really on the chart because to me it's not as important, other than I'd like them to know the order that the explorers were going, which is the order that they are in our notes. But there is a card like this, which is for writing down and putting on a timeline, because that's good practice for us, when the person was exploring, just so they have that. Okay? So, they have a, or rather, I'm talking to the parents, kids, and I'm sorry, I should be saying you have a packet full of these pieces. You can lay them out on the card, the board here, if you will, and test yourself to see if you have them correct. And then, where do I check my answers? Well, in our notebook, we have all these answers. Tomorrow, we will be putting them onto these cards as far as what the routes were, etc. But the kids' notebooks have all this information already on it. So once they complete an Explorer, they go in their notes and they can check it against their notes. Okay? Tonight my goal was just to show you this game, or it's not a game, this activity, this study guide a little bit, just to give you a feel for it. Of course, we don't want to forget there's other beyond this for the studying. There was an assignment where we had questions. The kids should be getting those back and have them. They can go over those. There was an assignment with the key vocabulary for this chapter. There are 3 main words, which you will find on the History Alive tutorial. They'll be the first 3 questions on that practice test. And, you know, it does not hurt. I told the kids tonight, read through the chapter again. You need to read through that chapter again. Get to know these different explorers and who they are and what they explored and their reasons. Okay? And you really do need to know them, because the question at the end of this test is going to require you to really know at least one of these explorers well. So, you know, if you want to pick one that you really want to know well, get to really know one of them very well, but you do need to know all of them. There will be some multiple choice. There's going to be some matching to similar to what we did in the last one, where I give you a description of the explorer, and you have to put the explorer with their description. So you need to know who they are, when they, within reason, in what part of the order they were exploring, definitely what their motives were for going, and what it was that they actually discovered. And that's going to come from, of course, the reading. For example, with Henry Hudson, that he discovered the Hudson River Valley and the Hudson Bay area. Okay? All right. With that, then, we will be closing out here, and have a good evening, and we'll do some more of this tomorrow.